Être seul c'est difficile, et là ça fait des années. Et de juger c'est facile, surtout quand on n'y a pas goûté. Le plus dur, bah c'était la première fois. Puis le plus dur, c'est de savoir quand sera la dernière fois. C'est vrai, je suis pas contre un peu de tendresse de temps en temps. Et puis cette fois-ci, ben, je pourrais le faire en l'insultant. Oui, tout est négociable dans la vie moyennant paiement. En plus, je suis sûrement. Mais oh, laissez donc ma maman. Oui, je sais. C'est vrai qu'elle n'est pas parfaite. C'est un héros. Et ce sera toujours fièrement que j'en parlerai. Que j'en parlerai. Je suis un comme ils disent, après tout ce qu'elle a fait pour eux. Oh chère mère, ils te déshumanisent. C'est plus facile, les mêmes deux. Et tout le monde ferme les yeux. Pourquoi tout le monde me déteste, alors que c'est moi qui les nourris? Leur vie serait bien plus modeste. Sans moi, elle serait pourrie. Le lit et la sécurité ont un prix, madame. Ben oui, dans la vie tout se paye. On te l'avait donc jamais appris. On m'accuse de faire d'être humain. Mais 50, 40, 30 ou 20%, c'est déjà bien. Faudrait pas qu'elles se prennent un peu trop pour des mannequins. Mesdames, ou devrais-je dire? Mais oh, laissez donc ma maman. Oui, je sais. C'est vrai qu'elle n'est pas parfaite. C'est un héros. Et ce sera toujours fièrement que j'en parlerai. Que j'en parlerai. Je suis un comme ils disent, après tout ce qu'elle a fait pour eux, pardonne leurs bêtises. Oh chère mère, ils te déshumanisent. C'est plus facile, les mêmes deux. Et tout le monde ferme les yeux. Je sais que c'est ton boulot, mais faut bien que je fasse le mien, non? Entre le tien et le mien, la différence.
And good evening on what is a perfect night for football. The floodlights shining down on the players as we speak. I'm Derek Ray, and sitting next to me with his tactics charts at the ready is Stuart Robson. And we have a foot rivals match coming up for you. Stuart, what are you expecting to see?
Thanks, Derek. Well, both managers will be reminding their players of starting the game quickly, hitting the opposition back, playing the ball forward and regaining possession as quickly as possible. Hopefully we get a really good game here.
Pushed into the penalty area. He's gone and found the net! Brilliant piece of finishing! Magnificent goal! Well, back underway, and 1-0 it is. Let's see what happens next. A really single-minded piece of defending to make sure nothing untoward happened. Al-Owairan. Holland. Good tackle. Well, the referee trying to play advantage there, but it wasn't forthcoming. Llorente. The supporters want to see him have a go. Well, great read there to intercept. Marcos Llorente, and he's in. Well, the keeper reacted magnificently. Grealish. Holland. Timely intervention. Marcos Llorente. Tim Cahill. Let's say this looks promising. Well, it fizzles out thanks to that piece of defending. Marcos Llorente is with Vinicius Junior and taking it away. Forward Vieira. Potential danger. Cahill. Keeper did his job to begin with. Well, really calm, composed goalkeeping there.
It certainly was on the second attempt. It was the first save that really stood out. That was a brilliant piece of goalkeeping.
Haaland. Haaland! Ter Stegen, it's an unbelievable save. Elects to go short. Grealish. Element of risk there, but he's won the ball. In a position from which they could potentially do a bit of damage here. He has teammates around him. Good pressure to win the ball back. And the quality of pass needs to be a bit better. Kewell. Surely. And it's in! All square again. What a match this is turning out to be. So underway again following the goal that made things level. And a throw-in forthcoming. Haaland. Erling Haaland. The game has been turned on its head. They have never stopped believing, and now they sense victory. Well, back underway as we reflect on the goal that's made it 2-1. Perfect tackle. Oh, and a perfect ball now. How about this? Haaland! Ball is loose. Poor pass under no real pressure. Well, doesn't get away with it. Free kick given. Interception to snuff out the danger. Cahill. Just wanted to get it out of there. Let's just clarify the injury situation. Our man on the side of the pitch is Jeff Shreves.
Oh, there's some real concern looks from the bench, I have to tell you, because he's landed right on top of his elbow, and that's causing him some serious pain at the moment.
Cheers, Jeff. Alawairan. And back with Dembele. And the keeper in complete command of the situation. Nearly at the break then, and the visitors have eked out a lead. Stuart, an opportune moment, I think, to get your assessment.
Well, it's been a good watch so far. Both sides have tried to play on the front foot, but they do look more threatening in the attacking areas. And in my view, they deserve to be in front.
Possession lost. Beautifully disguised ball. Cahill, is he going to do it? Can they cover up? In it goes! At the second time of asking, and the keeper feels hung out to dry. So underway again at 2-2. Kewell. And it's played into the centre. A bit short with the clearance. The first half here comes to an end. And so the second half gets underway. Almost a case of the two teams saying to each other, whatever you can do, I can do just as well. Ball with Vieira. Cahill. Pressing as a team. Well, couldn't quite find his teammate. Useful looking position, you've got to say. Holland. A very effective challenge put in. Holland. Real chance. Oh, it's off the post. Well, they can keep possession of it now.
Well, you sense the goals coming. They're getting so close now. They just need to take one of these chances.
Well, they have to have that sense of self-belief. It could happen for them. Using all his defensive acumen to cut it out.
Well, this is a really good game of football. Both sides have played well going forward. There's been plenty of chances, goals and a lot of near misses. It's been great entertainment.
Cahill pushing it through. And a goal it is to put them in front again. No less than they deserve. On with the game then. 3-2. What will happen next? Vinicius Junior. Aloiran. And it goes! 2 goals in rapid fire fashion and looking very comfortable here. So the current scoreline 4-2. Cahill. This might be the perfect counter-attacking opportunity. And in with a real chance. Trying to lob the keeper. And splendid goalkeeping.
Well, it's a decent attempt, but in the end, not enough. And as you say, good goalkeeping.
Barella. Well, pass after pass. Maybe they can chisel an opportunity. Well, he's lost it. Not the best challenge, free kick. And he's beaten him here. Dembele. Chance for Dembele. A goal! They're absolutely racing away with this. 3 to the good now.
Well, here we can see it again, and he does so well to skip beyond the defender. It just buys him that bit of time to get his shot away. That's a really nice goal.
Kuhl. Holland. Oh, the pressure's there. Element of pressure there, but he's all. Brilliant piece of skill. Into the final 20 minutes. Vinicius Junior. Now with Cahill. Aloiran. Oh, excellent diving stop. Trying to deliver it accurately. And how well the keeper did.
Well, that's just exceptional. He reacted so quickly there.
It might still be problematic. Oh, a vital interception. Well, racing away here. But stout defending when it mattered. an interesting pass. Well, that has been deemed offside, Stuart.
Well, he took too long to get the pass away. It's as simple as that.
Well, they did have the ball, but not anymore. Vinicius Junior. Ousmane Dembele prepared to fire. Having won the ball back, they might be able to profit. Well, that pass easy on the eye. Well, the keeper has outdone himself. Wonderful save. Dembele. Read it well. And just 5 minutes remaining. Oh, that's a pass of high quality. Well, they've pulled one back, but perhaps a bit too late in this contest. They haven't been at the races this evening. Well, the scoreline we see all that often, 5-3. Well, by playing keep ball like this, they're keeping the opposition at bay. Jesus Navas. Well, technically offside, but not by a lot. Kewell. Return to Barella. Really important piece of last-ditch defending. And the referee has added on 2 minutes of stoppage time. Counter-attacking, very much an option. He's in with a chance. Not out of the woods yet. Rifled against the post, but back in play. Oh, and it goes! Now he has his hat-trick. A special moment for him.
Well, what about this? He reacts brilliantly. He's so sharp there. That's a very good goal.
And that is the end of the contest, and not a happy outcome as far as the visitors are concerned.
Well, Derek, that just wasn't good enough today. A lack of a game plan, too many players below par, and not enough energy all around the pitch. A really...
Welcome everyone on a perfect night for football with the floodlights beaming down. I'm Derek Ray on the commentary gantry and delighted to be joined as always by Stuart Robson. And we have action from foot rivals coming up for you. How's it going to go, Stuart?
Well, Derek, when looking forward to this game, you can't help but notice there are some great matchups all over the pitch, particularly in those central areas. Whichever team wins more of those battles will win the game.
The starting 11 for Krakens. David De Gea stands between the posts. Kyle Walker plays with Joao Cancelo in the fullback positions. Ruud Gullit plays alongside.
Oh, he could be in here, Derek.
And a goal! That is a very bright start. Perfect way to open.
Number 14.
And back underway. 1-0 it is. Aubameyang. Aubameyang! And it's two for him today. A masterful performance. The defenders unable to stop it. So the ball rolling again. 2-0 the score. Well, it's one goal after another. A highly impressive performance. So the ball is moving once more, and the Krakens hold all the aces. Walker. This is looking threatening. Possibility for Aubameyang. Well, they've solved the problem for now. And a goal! He's doubled his total for the day.
Stop y'all, to the beat y'all, the body rock y'all, so let's rock y'all. Non-stop y'all, to the beat y'all, the body rock y'all, so let's rock y'all. Non-stop y'all, to the beat y'all, the body rock y'all, so let's rock y'all. Non-stop y'all, to the beat y'all, the body rock y'all, so let's rock y'all. Non-stop y'all, to the beat y'all, the body rock y'all, so let's rock y'all. Non-stop y'all, to the beat y'all, the body rock y'all, so let's rock y'all. Non-stop y'all, to the beat y'all, the body rock y'all.
Hello, it's great to be with you, and I don't think anybody is going to complain, especially about the weather. I'm your match commentator, Derek Ray, and my partner, ready to bring you all the analysis and technical talk, is Stuart Robson. And what we have coming up is this intriguing contest in division rivals. Stuart, your expectations?
Thanks, Derek. Well, often we talk about the tactics, the individual players that are missing, but so often it's the mentality of the players that is key to winning any football game. Which of these teams has the right attitude today is the big question.
And the starting 11 for the Spartans. Marc-Andre ter Stegen stands between the posts. Lucio plays with Antonio Rüdiger in central defence. Rodrigo Bentancur plays alongside Roy Keane in the engine room. And so many different ways to configure an attack. In this case, it'll be two men up
Derek,
front.
great opportunity here.
Off the post and back in play. Well, threat averted.
Well, they won't come closer than that. So unlucky not to take the lead there.
Well, they're on the ball, and they've just got to forget about that moment of misfortune. Vital intervention. Splendid tackle, and the outcome is a corner here. And that is not going to help the cause. The header well off the mark. Well, time does tend to move quickly in football. Seems like only yesterday he was signing for the club, but today it's his 100th appearance.
Well, he's been really good since he joined, not just in his performances, but also in the way he's conducted himself. He's certainly a fan's favourite.
Can he put them in front? Yes, is the dramatic answer, and you have to say it was on the cards. 1-0 then. Throw-ins given. Walker. It's with Bentancur. Really getting stuck in. He's in here. Will he? Oh, marvellous save. Great goalkeeping. Keane. Sterling has it. Walker. Return to Brolin. Just couldn't capitalise there. Barella. That's not a bad ball. That's all they can conjure for now. Sterling. Decided to come in from the flank. Surely! And the keeper more... than equal to the task. Well, opting for the short corner. Cancelo. Now with Keane. It has to be. And there it is! A two-goal cushion now. And they just need to keep the concentration. So underway again. And a 2-0 advantage here. Huel. The cross is on. Holland. Well, a wild swing at the ball in the end. That was what it amounted to. And unable to keep possession. Holland. Could pull one back here. That is a tackle and a half. Chiesa. And on to Lucio. Walker. Sterling. Really good challenge. Walker. Oh, given away. Raheem Sterling. And now passing it through. Dalglish. Textbook defending inside the box. Well, on the cusp of half-time, and not a first half that will live long in the memory for the visitors. Stuart, how about your take?
Well, they've struggled in this first half. They've been outplayed and outrun. They need to improve all aspects of their play in the second half if they're to get back in this one.
Keane. Sterling has it. Walker. Sterling. Oh, surely. The importance of that tackle cannot be overstated. Dalglish. Oh, he's through here.
I say go to college, but I'm saying financially maybe you don't need to because your family already has wealth. So I just want to point that out. I think that's a really important point because I think that is a fundamental part of the real estate scam. Essentially, is that you can go from zero, which you need a lot of capital to do this. The other thing too, which I think is really funny, if you take a look at the more of the Wikipedia, I'm just going through here quick. He actually had some legal issues with Grant Cardone and Dave Ramsey. So basically, Dave Ramsey sued Meet Kevin for trying to steal their business model, essentially, which is really funny. And then Grant Cardone, I don't think he sued him for stealing the business model, but he sued Meet Kevin for basically Meet Kevin like just trespassing the property, was just running around, one of Grant Cardone's offices. That's the basic gist of it. You can check it all on Wikipedia, but I just want to give you the general idea of it. And then the last thing, which I really want to point out, which I think is really important, this is something that CNBC did a basically it's kind of review, featured them on the show. And the one thing I thought was really interesting is they were saying that Meet Kevin, most of his income is right here. This is on Wikipedia. CNBC found that Pathred's earnings, most of his income from YouTube advertising revenue and affiliate programs, not real estate or stock market investing. So this is a really fundamental point, is if you're interested in investing in Kevin's company, just be aware that he has gotten most of his money from his life from being on YouTube and making money off YouTube. That's basically it, right? And so then he's trying to convince you that, hey, I'm a real estate, guru. Please invest in my new company. And I'm just laying it out flat out. Like CNBC is like, no, you make all your money from YouTube. So he'll be back on YouTube. Don't worry. But I just want to put this out to you just so you guys can know. The other thing too, which I want to point out as well, which I think is very, very interesting. This was something that, and someone mentioned it too in the comments. And like I said, I always appreciate you guys mention stuff in comments because then I go and look it up just to make sure that it all checks out. One thing that I think is interesting is that Kevin is sort of like teaching people unethical things on his channel. Now I'm just full disclosure, I haven't watched like all million videos that Kevin has put out, so there's just too many to watch, right? But I get it, right? These all sorts of things fit with someone's character, and it's funny when you look back at his old videos, he's the same person that he is today. I mean, he's just like this really pushy, bubbly, I guess you could say, salesperson, and that's what Kevin is. He's a salesperson. But one of the things I think was interesting, and I'll just read through it. This is Meet Kevin. Rule number 10: never ever tell a tenant that you're the owner. He says, you're just the manager. And if the tenant, worst case scenario, somehow figures out your name is on the title, say, yep, I'm one of the owners, but there are other owners as well. Look, it's happened. Tenants can come up to me and said, I know you're the owner. We really want these palm trees trimmed. Make sure you trim those palm trees. And I go, I'll check with the owners. Hey, Lauren, the contract says the tenants have maintained the palm trees and everything, but the tenants want us to do it. Do we do it? And Lauren says, F word, no. I'm so sorry. The owner said no. So the basic gist of it, this is that one of the ways Kevin manages properties is by pretending he's not the owner or just one of many owners, and just that he's just a manager. And the reason why you would do that is basically if tenants need you to do something, you can say, oh, I'll ask the owner. Like it's just a way to like not have to do anything. It's a strategy, and I think that's unethical. And I'll be curious to you guys' opinion on this, and if you knew about these kind of practices. But I guess throughout, and someone else wrote another comment as well, where basically the gist of it is that Kevin's all about trying to buy cheap properties and then fix them up as cheap as possible and then rent them out, which makes sense in terms of money. But it's your your decision whether that's ethical, and I think that's a really interesting question, whether or not it's ethical to basically try to get. And how can I say? In college, we used to always make joke that, and I'm sure if you guys went to college, this. There are certainly slum landlords out there. That is a real thing, to where they have all these basic college apartments. They own the land all around the university, that kind of thing, and basically just manage a whole bunch of slums. And they're in disrepair. They don't want to fix it because basically it's all about keeping costs as low as profits, raising rents. Maintenance, keeping maintenance costs low, and I get it. And it's interesting because I was thinking about, in terms of if you were to manage these things ethically, it becomes a very, very different proposition. Well, first, let me just show you this as well. This is another thing that was really funny that someone brought up in the community. Graham Stephan recently made a couple of days ago a video that, one of his tenants trashed his place, and someone's like, he does that every year. And lo and behold, last year he also made a video about how a tenant trashed his place. These are just a few pictures, but the basic, scam is like, I keep repeating over again, but I just want to make sure it's clear, this idea that you can go from zero to millionaire is a bit of a scam because, if your family has money, yes, you can buy real estate, and yes, you can rent it out, yes. But the idea that you can just go from zero and to do this, or very little money, especially in a rising interest rate environment, and especially when houses are really expensive right now, basically all-time highs in terms of prices. It is a very, very different proposition. And you have to think about as well is oftentimes they try to make it like it's easy money, it's no risk, that kind of stuff. And this is a major risk of having tenants trash your place. The other thing too, which I think is really important as well, is someone wrote in the comments, and I totally get it because I've had landlords in the past as well. And I do appreciate you guys' comments. I really do. I read these things and I incorporate in videos, but I just want to say appreciate the community. Please give feedback. But someone was saying that when you say have a full-time job, and this person's like a mortgage lender, and then also manages a property, managing a property is basically a second full-time job because, and this makes sense as well, part of the value or money that you're going to get, essentially, earn, is putting your own time into something. So if I manage a property, I'm mowing my own lawn, I'm cleaning the own bathroom, I'm fixing my own roof, right? I'm maintaining the building, but I'm saving costs by I don't have to hire someone else. And the whole sort of thing I want you to get from this is like, remember Kevin's whole new business pitch proposal is that, he's managed, we'll say 5 to 10 properties, I don't know exactly, but we'll just say something like that. And we'll be generous. We could say 30 properties or whatever, just to be generous. But can you scale that to suddenly, managing, say, 300 properties, 1,000 properties, et cetera, and really build this out? And also, too, not having, any big money backing him that we've known. He may announce, maybe for all I know, maybe he announces Goldman Sachs is backing, but I kind of don't think so. Mostly because of like this initial new company is coming out and asking just regular people to invest in it. And it just, this crowdfunding stuff, it's basically scammy. That's how I read it. And all of this thing all fits together. It's like, it's not anything that we haven't seen before. I think just the irony of it is how Kevin started out criticizing Grant Cardone and now essentially going full Grant Cardone by doing an investment company or real estate investment crowdfunding company, just like Grant Cardone. So it's kind of like Kickstarter for real estate. Guys, I do want you to be successful in life. And I think at the end of the day, this is always something that just is very real. If something's too good to be true, it often always is. So that's something to be aware of. Also, to understand that many of these people that you see on YouTube these days, they got started in the bull run markets where everything was easy money. The government was just printing out stimulus checks for everyone, right? Things went up like crazy. Now things are coming down, and now interest rates are going up, and people are losing their jobs. This is a different environment. And for many young kids out there, you've never seen this stuff before. And also, too, and this is something that I want to address with you guys in further in future videos, is that I understand there might be people out there that are in their position in life that you don't necessarily have the connections to, get to where you want to be. And so you feel like, people on YouTube are going to give you those connections by selling you classes. And I just find that really, really disingenuous. So please, I recommend if you do want to better your life and you want to get good with money and all these kind of things, just hang on this channel. I'm not going to charge you any classes. This stuff is for free, and just put out information. And we also have a good community as well. And just try my best to let you guys know kind of like how to do well in life. And honestly, personally, Frank, I don't talk about real estate or money as much as other things. I like to talk about just general things of like getting better education, getting better job skills, which I think the first step before, like, say, just buying some scammy YouTubers classes is, if you want more money in life, is get a better job. And then you take that better job and you start saving money, and then you start socking that money away. That's the basic gist of it. But I think, for people out there who aren't in a job that they like, they want to hear the dream is that, you don't necessarily have to work any harder. You can just buy some course and you'll be rich. And I understand that sells, but I'm here to just try to give you real advice on this kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys understand what we're talking about. And digging through this, I just find it really, really ironic that essentially you have 2 Sith Lords, right? And there can only be one, so I guess one Sith. If you guys know, we're making Star Wars jokes, but one Jedi is trying to replace the other Jedi, and we'll see if that ends up happening. So, love to hear your thoughts on this thing. I'd love to hear you guys' honest thoughts about real estate. What do you think about this crowdfunding real estate? And who do you think is going to be more successful in this kind of venture, Grant Cardone or me, Kevin? Love to hear your guys' thoughts on that thing. So, anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Hang up on that fool, man. Don't call me about a 17-unit deal. Get my damn book, son.
And of course, then there are always some people that are like, oh, well, Kevin, he's just trying to sell his real estate agency stuff and get more clients. Come on! I work in Ventura and Santa Barbara County. You mean to tell me that somehow I'm going to fluke in to getting clients when people from Canada and Florida and New York and all around the world watch these videos?
Yeah. And if then you want to throw money into Grant's fund, awesome. I'm all for it. Maybe by then I'll even have a fund.
Clearly, I made a lot of mistakes or things I would give anything to be able to do over again. I didn't ever try to commit fraud on anyone. I was excited about the prospects of FTX a month ago. I saw it as a thriving, growing business. I was shocked by what happened this month, and reconstructing it. Where there are things I wish I had done differently.
Former FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried speaking at the New York Times' DealBook Summit yesterday, the first appearance since his firm collapsed and billions of dollars went missing. SBF claiming he did not commit fraud after losing billions of investor funds and then fleeing to the Bahamas. Joining me right now is Ohio Congressman, House Financial Services Committee member Warren Davidson. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. I know that hearings on FTX are beginning this month. What are you expecting to learn, and what is your reaction to him coming out in the middle of all of this and doing this interview, saying he did not commit fraud?
Well, I think the world is stunned that he's not in custody. I mean, when you look at the level of meltdown and the things that we've already uncovered, you just look at the op-ed in the Wall Street Journal from the acting CEO who's coming in putting this together. He's like, this is on a level I've never seen, and he did the Enron restructuring. So. That alone should say he should actually be have brought in and be questioned in the United States, not in the Bahamas right now. So I think people suspect there's another layer of two-tiered justice going on, a lot of continuing concern with the Justice Department. And I think it highlights the frustration that many in this space have had with the Securities and Exchange Commission. People do not have confidence that Gary Gensler is focused on solving these problems.
And why is that? Is it because he's been the big donor to the Democrats? Is that why he's not in jail right now?
It's possible, but I think the real issues, this whole space has kind of been hands off for a long time. Darren Soto and I have had a bill since 2018 to try to make it clear. Look, some things clearly are securities. They should be regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and some things aren't, and the Securities and Exchange Commission should stay focused on their lane and get this under control. They're failing in this space. So the real question is it a Gary Gensler thing? Is it a structure of the Securities and Exchange Commission thing? Maybe both. But clearly things, if fraud happened here, we did not have the right structure in place to detect it. I mean, he bought a substantial portion of BlockFi. He bought a broker-dealer. How did those things go through SEC scrutiny and none of this get detected? So I think there are a lot of questions.
Yeah, Todd.
Congressman, there's also the specter of why this guy got to tell his story yesterday at the New York Times Summit. Look, I am all for journalism. If you have the opportunity to get a big get like Sam Bankman-Fried and you get to interview him for a journalistic endeavor, I get that. But this was a money-making endeavor, and I just think it sends the wrong message that, yeah, you can defraud people of billions of dollars and get to tell your story, quite frankly, in a friendly environment.
Yeah, not only that, the coverage has been giant fluff pieces from virtually everyone. So people look at the media and go, what's up with this guy? He's got all the... So basically it kind of shows kind of this woke ideology. If you're down with the program, you're down with the team, where you get one set of treatment, and if you're not, look what they're doing to Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
So who are they more concerned about? Elon Musk? They're not concerned about Sam Bankman-Fried. If they are, it's all, how do we protect our guy?
Yeah, it's really rich to see the Democrats attack Elon Musk and do nothing about TikTok, by the way. Elon Musk is now saying that Twitter has, quote, interfered in elections prior to his takeover of the company. This is the former Twitter safety chief says it was, quote, a mistake to censor the New York Post's report on Hunter Biden's laptop. Yesterday, we spoke with Kentucky Congressman James Comer about Twitter censoring free speech and the cover-up of the Biden family's influence peddlings. Here's what he said. Watch.
The government has no business in censoring free speech. We're optimistic that Elon Musk is going to turn those documents over. I think this is something the White House is very scared of. Joe Biden was receiving benefits through Hunter Biden paying for basic living expenses, repairs to his homes, and things like that. This obviously is something that the president has lied about. He lied about his knowledge of Hunter's shady business dealings.
I mean, this is why they call it the swamp. I mean, they're all in bed together. You've got Elon Musk being attacked because he's not part of the club. And yet Bankman-Fried is getting away with whatever he did. He's over there speaking. He was a major donor to the Democrat Party. TikTok is a threat to our national security, and there's no problem there, Congress. What is going on with this two-tier system?
Well, I think we all kind of know, and the question is, what are we going to do about it? And so in this next Congress, as we go into the Financial Services Committee, we have to crack down and say, look, our capital markets are the best in the world. They're not going to stay that way if we keep politicizing all this stuff. We need to have markets that are focused and functional. And we look at, big government loves big business loves big government, and big tech's right there at the intersection of it. The whole idea that there would be a disinformation governance board or Ministry of Truth in the United States of America is appalling. Meanwhile, the European Union is basically expecting it. So China, of course, demands it, and a lot of American companies are complying with these other regimes around the world. And then what they're really wanting to do is impose the same kind of thing on America.
Yeah.
So we have to make it clear to America's bureaucrats that, look, if you're going to censor American citizens who aren't guilty of crimes, you're not, national security classified information, then that could end up being punishable, maybe even a criminal offense by federal employees.
Well, I mean,
we can't allow this.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point, because corporate America has been funding the expansion of communist China. And this is our #1 adversary. Do you think that Apple was directed to replace the everyone option for the AirDrop with a function that only gives users 10 minutes limit in which to receive files? I mean, did his Chinese overlords direct him to make it harder for the protesters to speak and make bigger protests through the Apple AirDrop feature?
Well, no one believes it was market forces, right? There was no market demand for that. It makes it harder to use. So, it's clearly the Chinese Communist Party. And you look at all these corporations, they won't call out China for what China's doing. Even if you look at TikTok, China's party allows one version of TikTok for the Chinese population, and they allow a much more corrosive version in our system. Now, we have a system of free speech. Frankly, Facebook and some of the other big tech companies in America are doing almost the same thing. And I think what they're really worried about is Elon Musk outing them and saying, yeah, we've got the same sort of pipeline going to the government, or at least certain officials within it. And, if Elon Musk is already saying, hey, look, Twitter actually influenced the election outcome because we were coordinating these activities, talk about a big story, and I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of.
Oh, can you do anything about it? Are you going to look at this when you guys take the majority?
Absolutely, and
so
as Jamie Comer's talking about,
potentially interfering in elections.
I don't know about Twitter, but big tech. I mean, why look at one company? We look at what's going on. People are being filtered. I mean, I still remember one of the hearings where Congressman Jordan was saying, with the big tech folks, they're like, well, you're being shadow banned. But it was really the algorithm. You're like, what was in the algorithm? The names Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows, Matt Gaetz, and somebody else.
Yep.
And that's exactly what was going on. It was very selectively canceling news of the day and influencers of the day.
That's right. I think I was part of that as well, getting shadow banned. I certainly saw weird things on my own social media accounts. Congressman, we're going to be keeping a spotlight on it. We appreciate your leadership on the subject. Thank you, Warren Davidson, for being here this morning. We'll see you soon.
All right, welcome back to the show. Senator Ted Cruz of the great state of Texas, and very importantly, author of Justice Corrupted, How the Left Weaponized Our Legal System. Senator Cruz, maybe this is a believe it or not, but I read the book and really liked it, and I'm here to recommend it. One click on Amazon or whatever your favorite method is. I mean, it's a really good book. Lots of power-packed history in that book. And you have bipartisan criticism, which I also love, going back to the Nixon years. So I want to ask you, I mean, this special prosecutor, I mean, 3 days after Trump announces, whatever one thinks of Trump announcing, pro or con, 3 days after he announces, here comes the latest special prosecutor or special counsel on Trump, on Mar-a-Lago, on January 6th. This is right out of your book. I mean, you really need to write a new last chapter of your book because... well, you've called it absolutely disgraceful, and I suspect you're right.
Well, thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. You're right. That's what this book is entirely about. It is about how the Barack Obama administration politicized and weaponized the Department of Justice and the FBI and the IRS and law enforcement and the CIA. And then under Donald Trump, those hardcore partisans burrowed into senior career positions, waged war on Donald Trump for the 4 years of the Trump presidency. And now under Joe Biden, it is absolutely metastasized. They are openly partisan. And I got to say, it's striking. The book came out just a couple of weeks ago. It's shot to the bestseller list, which I certainly appreciate. But just as I released the book, the FBI raids Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago, the first time in the history of our country that's ever been done. Just as I released the book, Merrick Garland announces he's appointing a special prosecutor with the intention of indicting Donald Trump. Listen, this Attorney General has turned the Department of Justice into the enforcement henchman of the White House and the DNC. And I got to tell you, Larry, I hear repeatedly from FBI agents, from prosecutors at the Department of Justice who are horrified at what should be nonpartisan, what should be. I don't want a Republican DOJ. I don't want a Republican FBI. I don't want a Democrat DOJ or FBI either. I want a DOJ and FBI that enforces the law. And under Joe Biden and Merrick Garland, it is instead a partisan weapon. And that's an incredible threat to the rule of law and to everyone's liberty.
You know, it's interesting, just as a brief sidebar, my friends, and your friends too, I think, on the editorial page of the Wall Street Journal have been slamming Donald Trump ever since the election. Okay, they're slamming him daily. Whatever one thinks of that, I frankly think they've gone way too far, but that's an aside. They did, however, or they do agree with you that this special prosecutor is a very bad idea, basically for the reasons that you're mentioning, that this is a weaponization of law enforcement. And the other thing is, Senator Cruz, it seems to me the remit here is far-reaching, that you're talking about a major fishing expedition in the next couple of years as Trump may or may not run or get through the primaries. I'm not here to predict that outcome, but I am here to criticize what's the remit. It's not just Mar-a-Lago. It's not just January 6th. This thing could roam far and wide into who knows there.
Yeah. Look, Larry, I've talked about this at great length on the podcast that I do 3 times a week, Verdict with Ted Cruz, where we've gone in and explained what's going on inside at DOJ. And you really go back a couple of months ago when DOJ began leaking that they intend to indict Hunter Biden. And set aside for a second that DOJ leaking, that's not how a Department of Justice is supposed to operate. That's pure politics. But my assessment back then when they leaked it, what they said about Hunter Biden is they were going to go after him for drug charges and income tax charges. Both of those are personal. They're directed to him. And listen, at the end of the day, our concern is not with some troubled soul who has substance abuse issues. The reason that's a matter of public concern is the very significant evidence of official corruption of Joe Biden, the president of the United States, and before that, the vice president. And I believe what DOJ was doing was, number one, by leaking they're going to go after Hunter for the personal stuff, they're walling off all of the official corruption. They don't want to look at Joe. They don't want to look at the White House. They just want to say, poor fellow with substance abuse problems. But number two, I think that was the first shoe to drop so they could then appoint this special prosecutor and indict Donald Trump and say, look how even-handed we are. We indict a Biden, we indict a Trump, not politics at all. This is 100% politics. In over 2 centuries of our nation's history, this has never happened. Banana republics do this. Banana republics, when one party gets in power, turn around and prosecute their predecessors and try to lock them up and put them in jail. Now Joe Biden is trying to turn America into the Democrat equivalent of that, and it's wrong.
Yeah, weaponization is a very bad trend. Senator, let me turn some other things here. So the GOP will take the House, not quite the Senate. Maybe it'll be 50-50 if Herschel Walker wins, maybe not. My question to you is the Republican Party poised, ready, organized to really make it clear to the American people that the Republicans have an agenda for economic growth and prosperity? And I mean a broad-based agenda. Spending, taxing, regulating, of course, opening up the spigots on fossil fuels, but also stopping crime is pro-growth. Stopping the borders, closing the borders would be pro-growth. In other words, can the GOP show the public that they will make good stewards of economic prosperity? Because I'm not sure they made that case convincingly during the last election.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, and I hope so. We need to stand up and lead, and that means, number one, serious oversight from the House of Representatives. That means investigating all of these policies that are hurting the American people, the policies of waste and fraud and spending trillions of dollars that are driving up inflation, the war on domestic energy production that's driving up the cost of gasoline, all of the soft on crime prosecutors and the zealots advocating for abolishing the police and how that is driving up crime. We need to be fighting all of that. And I'll tell you, in the Senate, you know, we just had last week, as you know, a leadership battle in the Senate. It's first time in 16 years that Mitch McConnell's been leader that there's been a leadership battle. And I stood up, I made a motion that we should delay leadership elections until after December 6th, until after the Georgia runoff. I said, Herschel Walker deserves to have a say in our leadership. And we need to have a debate about what Republicans in the Senate are going to stand for. Are we going to fight? And my motion needed 25 senators to vote for it to pass. It ended up getting 16, so I fell just 9 senators short. But what was valuable is we had 2 days of extended debate where I asked our leadership, I said, listen, is there anything that we're willing to fight on? Because right now, a lot of the American people believe we're not willing to fight. I think we need to pick big issues and stand and fight. And I suggested several. I suggested, number one, we should be fighting right now to stop Joe Biden from firing thousands of soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines who dedicated their lives to defending this country, who Biden is firing just because they declined to get the COVID vaccine. I said, we ought to use legislative power to fight that. Next year, we ought to draw a line in the sand and fight and say, we will not fund 87,000 new IRS agents who will descend upon the American people and persecute the American people, whom Biden will weaponize to target you. We ought to draw the line in the sand and say, we're not going to fund that, and we're going to put that money on the southern border to secure our border. Now, I'll tell you, our leadership wasn't eager to engage in any of those fights. But I think it was beneficial that we're having that conversation. I'm going to keep pressing. I think if you want to win and lead, you got to demonstrate you're willing to fight and you believe in what you're saying. That's what I'm trying to get my colleagues to stand up and do all together.
Why not, by the by, why not take H.R. 1, which I think might come out